So you're pitching a VC and the VC asks you, when will you be profitable? Now, if you want to know the answer, stick with me right now.
Ask Alex. Ask Alex. Because you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah.
So what does the investor mean when they ask you this? It's expected that a startup will be profitable at some point. So when will it happen to you? Now, this is a loaded question, so where do you start? Laughing out loud and smacking the table with your hand is not the way to deal with this. The ideal answer would be based on demonstrating optionality and the trade-off between growth and profitability. Now, for many companies, you can choose to get profitable, but it comes at the expense of your growth. Now, you could assert that your key focus is to grow to a point of scale, at which point you have the option to continue scaling or to focus on profitability. That's a nice place to be, since you're not dependent on the investment climate for your survival. Remember that, privately at least, VCs only care about growth. If you can keep growing, then they want you to keep raising and getting really freaking big. However, if the investment environment gets negative, they will expect you to magically vary any costs and get profitable so that you just don't die. Now, there are two examples of this that I can remember. The first one being in 2015, where Bill Gurley of Benchmark Capital warned startup unicorns to prepare for leaner times. He did this big tweet storm, and I'll just give you one tweet, but he said, "We may be nearing the end of a cycle where growth is valued more than profitability. It could be at an inflection point." And then prior to that, in more nerdy terms, in 2008, Sequoia wrote a 56-slide doomsday presentation entitled RAP Good Times. The core message? Spend every dollar as though it were your last. Now, the question is something more traditional investors would actually ask you. And by that, I mean anyone who doesn't understand tech. Most VCs would never ask this to an early stage company. If you get asked this by a traditional investor, you might actually need to explain to them how the game works of startup and VC. Now, this may lead to killing the deal, but at least you won't get stuck with someone who pushes you act in a way that you don't really want to. And let's face it, I have a number of friends who set up startups and the VCs, or traditional investors, if you will, didn't get it. And they were not building the kind of company they want. So don't just take money if you're not taking it for the right investor. So what do you need to say? At present, we are subscale. There is no way for us to be profitable until we've approximately 1,500 customers and on an adjusted cost base. Once we've reached this customer milestone, we have an option between scaling up to a significant company or focusing on the bottom line, on profitability. Now, naturally, there are consequences to our valuation and exit options if we play either card. Now, once we have a better insight into our payback period, our LTV, we should be able to have a clear line of sight on what it would take to become profitable. This would give us the option to be profitable if the investment climate went dark and became negative. I believe it would take us 2 years to be profitable if we took that route, though. But let's be clear. We're gunning for a large exit, not a small one. Can we make sure that we're on the same page of the scale of business that we want to build, just to ensure there's no surprises in the future? I think that's really important for us to agree up front. There we go, guys. I hope that was useful. If you want to learn more, head over to alexanderjarvis.com, and I look forward to seeing you over there. Bye.